Today I'm talking about a $5 million scam in the luxury watch industry and how this affects you in the stacking precious metals community. How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Empire Precious Metals. Thank you so much for watching. Today what I wanted to talk about is this $5 million scam that happened in the luxury watch industry and how this all ties in and affects you who is in the stacking of silver and gold and precious metals community. Now, before I talk about how this all ties into you in the precious metals community, let me just tell you how this story came about and exactly what had happened, those of you that don't know. Now, for those of you that know my channel, you know that I'm into other things other than stacking precious metals. You know that I like to collect a whole bunch of other things. I had a big Yankee memorabilia collection. I have a large comic book collection. I had some Magic the Gathering cards. Well, I still do. Magic the Gathering cards, Garbage Pail Kids. I collect a lot of things. And more recently, I've been getting into luxury watches. This is my first Rolex. And, they say once you get one, you probably will get more. But be that as it may, what happened was, and I'm sure a lot of you can attest to the similar scenario, I started getting interested in something, in this case, luxury watches, and I started to research online, especially on YouTube. And what happens? YouTube starts feeding you tons and tons of content about the particular thing that you are researching, and lo and behold, you go down the rabbit hole and you are just spending countless hours watching something on this new obsession of yours. And so in my case, it happened to be luxury watches. Now, I found this channel, Timepiece Gentleman, through my research, and the videos were entertaining. I would watch a lot of the content on TikTok. It just basically showed you this guy, Anthony Farrer, who would be wheeling and dealing, buying luxury watches for one amount and selling it for a higher price, obviously, to make his profit. He would also sell stuff on consignment. But, fast forward, what ended up happening just like 5 days ago, he announced on his YouTube channel that essentially he had defrauded lots of his customers and investors in the tune of $5 million. And I'm surprised that he is still not arrested just yet, but I've been watching this story closely because it's like watching a train wreck. And now he's been cut off from a lot of people in the watch community. There are some people who are fanboys of him and they like to watch this guy's content, and they're still giving him the benefit of the doubt, and they're still giving him money and still sending him watches on consignment to sell on their behalf, which to me I think is absolutely insane. Not to mention, it came out that this guy has a rap sheet of, I think, multiple felonies. He has like 6 DUIs. I mean, the guy is a bad actor. So what ended up happening is he posted a video saying that he's hit rock bottom, he's $5 million in debt, and that he is going to do his very best to make everybody whole. And so now he's been posting these videos on a daily basis, essentially, recording his phone calls with customers. And he's like, hey, did you get the payment? And he's sending them $2,000. And you see his $5 million just start to, just start getting paid off in dribs and drabs. But what brought me to bringing this story forward to the stacking community and why this is important to you is because I have seen over the last 4 years here on YouTube as well as on Instagram, not so much on TikTok because I don't really mess around much over there, but I've seen a lot of people get defrauded mainly from sellers, especially on Instagram, which I will do a part 2 to this video. But people essentially getting defrauded by bogus sellers. But what makes this story interesting and a bit scary, to be honest with you, is the fact that this guy was a very public profile. He was producing content, going to trade shows, wheeling and dealing with the bigwigs in the watch industry. He was very visible. He was accessible. And I remember distinctly one of the videos that he had published where a customer was on the phone with him and they were saying, how can I be so sure that, I'm sending you, this $40,000. How can I be so sure that you're legit? And his response was very similar to something that I tell a lot of people who are customers of mine here on YouTube. He tells the person, well, I have a very big social media presence. My address is X. You have my phone number. We are here. It's like you could easily find me. And the guy's like, oh, okay, yeah, good point. Okay, my mind is at ease, and did the deal with them. And so everything looked to be on the up and up with this guy. But then out of nowhere, I guess one of his customers had recorded a conversation with him where essentially everything was unraveling, and Anthony Farr, the owner of Timepiece Gentleman, was essentially spilling his guts and telling the guy how $2 million in watches that he said were stolen from him, he never really had stolen. In fact, that he essentially just, pissed that money away on gambling, drugs, expensive cars, penthouse, living beyond his means. And so he drops this video saying that he's $5 million in the hole and he's going to do whatever he can to make things right. He's not going anywhere, etc. So why does this matter to you in the precious metals community? This essentially is one of the arguments that I and other people within the stacking community who sell on YouTube, on Instagram, whether it be on TikTok, Facebook, whatever, they'll say to you that they are a very public figure. They've been around for XYZ. I mean, if you look at my channel, I have over 1,000 videos published. Somebody doesn't work that hard for 4 years, going on, it's going to be, 4 years, something like that. And just decides to defraud people, right? But what makes this scary, again, is that this guy is doing it in the tune of $5 million, and people would call him, offer him, these deals, and he would say to them, look, I'm a profile very public profile. You can find me anywhere. Your mind should be at ease. This is my address in Beverly Hills, whatever. So what this means to you in the stacking community is, number one, do your due diligence on the individuals that you are buying from. Again, I'm going to be doing a part 2 to this video talking about what happened very recently to some customers of mine on Instagram. And I've seen this happen time and time again. I'll get into that in another video. But you need to do your due diligence and make sure that the person is legitimate. How long, let's say, because this is my primary platform, how long have the people been on YouTube? Are they producing content on a regular basis? If you reach out to them, are they responsive? I would recommend that if you are looking to try out a precious metals dealer online and in social media, do a very small, modest deal before you get into anything big with them. Establish a rapport with the individual. Have this person send you references. As crazy as it may seem, you work very hard for your money, and the last thing that you want is to put your trust in somebody who's selling to you online. Seems like they are legitimate, and you send them the money via Zelle or whatever it is, and you don't get your items. I've seen stuff like this happen in the past with one channel, I would say 3 to 4 years ago. Channel doesn't exist any longer, but I've seen stuff happen in the YouTube community with some smaller channels back in the day where they essentially took money from people and they, essentially just went AWOL, disappeared. I know something also happened, I want to say 3 years ago. One big channel, who will remain nameless, was doing a community giveaway where they were sending a package across the United States. And as it made its way to these different channels, locations, those channels would donate a particular item, and they could also take out an item if they wanted to. And I remember one person took out all this gold and just threw in a crappy piece of silver or something and essentially just screwed everybody for the particular prize. But the point is, I'm digressing. Do your due diligence, number one. Get referrals, number two. And number three, listen to the little voice in your head. If something doesn't seem right, or that little voice is telling you it's too good to be true, listen to that voice. There are plenty of people who have come onto my live streams and my auctions who have said that it's absolutely ridiculous that they have to pay a $2 fee or a $5 fee, depending on whatever membership, to join my auctions. And I tell them, listen, this auction isn't for you then. Don't join it. No one is forcing you to join it. You have, if the voice in your head is telling you don't do something, then you just don't do it. Don't risk your money. Don't take a roll of the dice and lose hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on a particular seller that you may not necessarily know. When it comes to Instagram, part 2 to this video, I'm probably going to do 3 or 4 videos about this because it's very important. I'm also going to talk about scams that have happened to sellers, myself included, very recently. But when it comes to Instagram, I will be talking about how you can kind of spot fake, fraudulent accounts. What are some red flags? I've done this video in the past. It's time to revisit it because this is just happening more and more often. The precious metals market is saturated like I've never seen before when it comes to sellers. And I just think it's very important to bring this information forward. Anyway, let me know in the comments, have you ever had any situation where you have been defrauded by anybody, whether it be online, an online retailer, could be somebody at your local coin shop, whatever it is. But just be very careful. And then let me know your story in the comments below. Maybe I'll use that as an intro into part 2 of this series of these scamming scumbags. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one.